Alright, let's start off with the introductions here. On Oxide, bottom left hand corner is where the blue Protoss player is currently spawning. The living legend playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming, it is ZEST.
And spawning here at the top right corner of the map is the red Protoss, representing the team of Alpha X. Give it up for ZOUN. So of course, PvP, one of the matchups that I think over the years has gotten much better. Of course, I think it used to be a lot of people's least favorite matchup, but I feel like over the years, especially with the introduction of the shield battery overcharge, it has become even some people's favorite matchup sometimes, but a lot better. At the very least, it's not the people's worst matchup to watch.
Yeah, there's some very well welcomed differences between every game compared to before. It's not the usual same kind of robo lane. And we can already see this game, it's getting pretty different from the get-go. With ZEST going for a Nexus first and stealing the gas out of ZOUN. That was an interesting play with the pylon blocking the Nexus of the Red Protoss as well.
Yeah, looks like ZEST is going to go ahead and force ZOUN to kind of put on some little pressure here, as we do see that the proxy pylon as well as the proxy gateway is coming out here for ZOUN. But I think ZEST should be wary, and I think, yeah, he should be throwing down a shield battery once his cybernetic core is done, because the shield battery should be able to help him defend a lot better. And he's definitely going to need it. He's definitely going to need it.
Yeah, stealing that gas was super important. That's basically forcing ZOUN to all lane. That's some pretty damn good damage. Like stealing the gas, blocking a Nexus twice in a row, having your own Nexus as your first structure. ZOUN needs to deal damage right now. He's very behind, and with this Stargate going up for ZEST, if ZOUN doesn't get any damage, it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty committed block here for ZEST, but yeah, that just means that he's gonna have a bit delay in terms of the unit production, the army production. So ZOUN, this is his chance to kind of punish ZEST for going for such a committed block here.
Doesn't look like he has much more units. He's gonna make an adept at the proxy gateway, and he's gonna send about 3 stalkers, I think. Yeah, 3 stalkers and 2 adepts. He's gonna have a slight advantage, but with the shield battery being up there for ZEST, he needs a shield battery of his own, and ZOUN is gonna make a couple right in front of the ramp to the natural. This is getting very interesting already. That's gonna shade past the army of the blue Protoss. Meanwhile, the Stalkers hacking at the Zealot, forcing the shield battery energy to be used. This is already a pretty fun game. It's getting a little bit rough on both sides. There's a Void Ray coming from ZEST, but these Stalkers sure do pack a punch. Shield battery overcharge gonna get used on that shield battery, and it's time for the shield batteries out of ZOUN to do some work right now. Meanwhile, the Adepts didn't find a way to shade past the army of the blue Protoss. 3 more shield batteries are gonna get issued by ZEST, and these 2 Adepts are desperately trying to find a way in. 3 Stalkers are gonna follow him, and for now, it looks like the action kind of has stopped. But ZOUN still has a more powerful army, still gonna get on top of that Void Ray. Shield battery overcharge is in cooldown, but here comes the second Void Ray, and now with 3 more shield batteries being up, this is so much damage going on both sides, and so much defense as well. These Void Rays are simply not dying. ZOUN is taking the bulk of the losses in this fight, in this trade, and it looks like the Void Rays might have cut it. More Stalkers are gonna get here. Shield batteries are kind of running low for the blue Protoss, but same can be said for ZOUN. More shield batteries gonna get added by both players. Shield battery overcharge is gonna be available for ZEST right now, and here it comes, another overcharge And these 3 Void Rays sure do have a very long lifespan right now.
Yeah, such a great tool there, defensive tool. And another shield battery gonna be up and running as well. And the steam of this attack from ZOUN is slowly but surely dying down.
It was looking so promising, it was looking such in a commanding position, but here comes the 4th Void Ray as well. Prismatic Overcharge is gonna get used as well to try and get as much damage on these Stalkers as possible, kind of out-damaging the shield battery's healing. The same cannot be said for ZOUN. These Stalkers do not deal as much damage as these 4 Void Rays, focusing fire on each Stalker at once. One of the Void Rays finally gonna fall down, the second one is very low, it's gonna fall down as well. But will ZOUN have enough? I definitely do not think so. Adept's gonna get on top of that Zealot, gonna get the kill. Shield battery is very low on both sides. These Void Rays do not have the expectancy of life they had a minute before, but the Stalker's amount of ZOUN is running low. Another shield battery overcharge, and that will probably mean that ZOUN needs to stay put for a while. And staying put for a while with a worse economy surely won't work in his favor.
Yeah, and also with the increased speed of these Void Rays, he can just pretty much micro these back and forth here. And once again, more shield batteries on the way up and running.
Yeah, both players spending so much, but ZEST gonna get the advantageous engagement and gonna get the advantage in the first game of this series. Interesting game and a beautiful defense from the Blue Protoss.
Yeah, definitely. It's usually not the case where the opponent, the opposing Protoss, can steal your gas. Usually they would park their you would park your own probe there behind or next to the gas, the simulator, to make sure that your opponent doesn't steal it. Because if he does steal it, then that kind of really limits your gas mining, and after that, you're pretty much forced into either expanding or going for a pressure build. But he couldn't even expand behind it because his expansion was blocked. So he was kind of forced to all in, and with the shield battery, it just kind of gives the defensive player the advantage at that point.
It's a lot of good moves on their side. ZOUN was eager to deal damage, but he had to deal damage. So he did his best. It was a very difficult situation, and I think he got very close. But it's another game, another story. Let's get into the second set of this Best of 9 series. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, here on Death Aura, is a Blue Protoss player currently leading the series 1-0, playing for Razier Edge Gaming. It is ZEST.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map, playing for Alpha X, hailing from Korea, he is ZOUN.
Alright, Forge first.
Oh.
Ooh.
Of course, this is
That's
one.
already a pylon over there.
Yeah, now this pylon is not really there to be up and running. It's just basically there, I think. Oh wait, actually, is he gonna let it finish?
Ooh, he's gonna let it finish, it seems like.
Oh wow.
Cannon goes up immediately after he finishes. This pylon on the ramp from ZOUN is gonna be pretty much, if he loses that, it's game over. He needs to keep that alive. First cannon is gonna go up. The Forge is gonna go up for ZOUN as well. I'm not too sure. Is it that out of range of the photon cannon? I kind of doubt it. 2 more photon cannons are gonna go up for the Red Protoss. Meanwhile, it looks like ZOUN, it looks like ZEST, sorry. It's not gonna commit, it's gonna just leave it at 1 photon cannon and add a gateway immediately behind it. And now this gateway is unpowered, and it's gonna be a very, very huge problem for ZOUN until these 2 photon cannons go up. The pylon is gonna go down for ZEST eventually, so it means the gateway would probably stay alive. In the meanwhile, ZOUN has quite a good defensive position, but ZEST still does quite a lot of damage without really investing a lot of his own resources.
I initially thought he was gonna actually let the or cancel the first pylon, only because it would take a bit longer for him to go into the main base to start cannoning. But you know what? Gotta give it up to ZOUN. I think he did a pretty good response there, and now he does have the cybernetic core up and running. Now on the other side, we do see that the cybernetic core is I think yeah, he's just has it up right now. Robotics facility is on the way. Yeah, this contain I don't think is gonna hang on too long for ZEST.
He's kind of committed into it though. Like I feel like he's gonna add shield batteries very soon to Stargates over here. That is definitely going to be some void rays over here. But once again, it's gonna be shield battery overcharge against no shield battery overcharge. And it's one cannon to one cannon, but it looks like ZOUN is gonna have the heads up in this fight. He's gonna have some scouting over here. This adept won't be doing much with the photon cannon and the shield battery being up. And right now, it looks like ZOUN can easily get on top of that cannon with the shield battery helping him. Well, not easily, but he will get on top of that eventually. Shield battery is gonna help that cannon stay alive. And not too sure if that's the best use of that energy, since the two Stargates are up right now. Nope. Completed shade. And the shield battery out of ZOUN is getting dangerously low right now. It's the one and only shield battery, and it's probably gonna fall. Oh my, oh my. Another shield battery is gonna go up. And now that an immortal is up, it looks like this photon cannon will finally go down. The two adepts are gonna shade past the cannon, and they're gonna complete the shade. That's something that should have never happened. And now that the void ray is here in the party, it looks like it's time for ZOUN to do some very, very defensive posture.
All right, those additional shield batteries coming up here for ZEST, which will be able to hold on, help him hold on a bit longer into this contain. Warray is going to go ahead and charge up here, but there are a bunch of shield batteries. Shield battery overcharge being used here by ZOUN. He feels a bit comfortable, actually, confident to just go here and dive on top of these void rays, and I don't blame him. There's not a lot here.
Shield batteries out of juice just to save that cannon, and not the best choice. This one is the last few energy shield that they're gonna go on top of everything. That's one pylon I'm powering this gate with this Stargate. The other one is way too far, so it looks like he will just try to hack down the Stargate. But these two void rays are still a big threat with 4 more shield batteries going off. It looks like they're gonna stay alive for quite a while. Right now though, one less target to worry about, and it looks like ZOUN's answer to this contain was quite good. He's gonna cancel the second immortal. Oh no, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, I don't think he even needed that second immortal, to be honest with you, but I guess it will help him kill off that pylon a little bit faster. Looks like the void rays will take down one of them. ZOUN really needs to kind of produce enough stalkers to overtake the void ray numbers, but he keeps losing them one by one.
Yeah, honestly, was a little bit too eager with that move. Shield battery overcharge is gonna help to the one to stay alive, but his immortal is getting dangerously low. His energy is gonna help him. His barrier, sorry, it's gonna help him stay alive. But ZEST is finally getting some leverage out of this contain. More shield battery is gonna be added by ZOUN, and it's not really a lot of stalkers right here. These shield batteries are really keeping these void rays alive for such a long time. And it doesn't matter that he lost one of the targets right now. Oh my, this immortal needs to not be in the fire. That's wasted energy on these shield batteries. He needs that energy on the stalkers. Another one of the stalkers is gonna go down actually. This target is gateway, sorry, is finally going to fall, but at what cost? Goodbye, last immortal. ZOUN doesn't really look as good as before. Another shield battery overcharge. It's gonna be used by the Red Protoss player. But now it's 4 stalkers against 4 void rays. That's not a great scenario. Sorry, 5 void rays. That's actually not the greatest scenario ever. These shield batteries are running out of juice. There's no probe over here for ZEST. And oh my. This is not a good scenario for ZOUN. He's getting dangerously low. Another stalker falls, killing one of the void ray, but one immediately spawns. soon after another Stalker goes down, ZOUN knows there's nothing more to be done. ZEST is gonna get game number 2, and that was quite messy.
Oh yeah, these first two games has definitely gotten a little bit messy in the beginning. But ZEST gotta give it up to him, because you know what? ZOUN had a pretty good response to the cannon rush, but ZEST buying enough time to get that the Stargate up and running, start getting the ward rate production up and running as well, and you know, throwing down some additional shield batteries to protect those ward rays. And once you get contained like that, it's really difficult to get out, unless you have like a proxy pylon out there to maybe go for a counterattack, or if you have blink maybe. I mean, could you imagine if ZOUN had blink during that engagement? That would have been so helpful. He wouldn't have lost his stalkers so quickly one by one.
It kind of felt like the Immortals didn't do enough. It was kind of the bad call over there, and also a little bit of over eagerness to stop that contain, which is something that I can really feel as a StarCraft 2 player myself. It's just when you get contained, you need to break it. It's just some primal urge, and he wasn't quite able to do so, unluckily for him.
Exactly.
Let's get into the third set of today's best of 9. We're on Submarine. And in the top left-hand corner of this beautiful map, the Blue Protoss player is currently spawning. Playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming. It is ZEST.
And spawning here at the bottom right corner of the map, he's the red Protoss on a 2-game losing streak. Can he get his first point on the scoreboard? It is ZOUN.
It finally looks like there's not gonna be any shenanigans in this third game. But man, ZEST is playing very cleanly with his micro. So I wouldn't be very surprised if he decided to go for something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more invested into microing his own units.
Well, it looks like he's throwing down a proxy pylon here. Let's see what it's gonna be. I would imagine maybe a proxy robo, just only because he's not mining his gases optimally off the bat. He's actually slowly kind of mining or kind of rallying his probes there. And oh, actually he's throwing down a gateway here. All right, looks like just a regular 3-gate pressure. Of course he can definitely throw down a robo behind this, but we shall see if he does that.
Yeah, I like the choice on this particular map, since it's a no ramp map in the natural, so you can get another contain possibly, and ZOUN really needs to take control on the low ground, otherwise it's gonna be very hard for him to hold.
Yeah, and also this map is pretty small, so units can actually rally across the map a bit quicker. Oh, we see ZOUN finally.
That's some pretty fine scouting.
Yeah.
Alright, it looks like ZOUN still doesn't have control of the low ground. He's gonna drop down a shield battery over there, which is already a very good choice. And with a Stargate going up, he's gonna have a couple of Void Rays to reinforce this location. If he decides to keep that gas, he's gonna spend it on an Oracle, which is another pretty good choice. 4 Stalkers against 3 right now. Oh, ZOUN, that was so close. That one Stalker barely survives. And ZEST, oh my, another one barely survives. ZEST is gonna expand, actually. And I do agree with that decision. I really don't feel like ZEST will have enough to break through if it doesn't get anything else first. And ZOUN, cheeky proxy gateway himself, with the Oracle flying through. Oh man, this is gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, looks like there's no shield battery in the mineral line of a ZEST, so this Oracle theoretically should be able to get a decent amount of probes here, especially since these Stalkers are actually across the map.
Yeah, this is basically gonna force a recall, which is very bad right now. Oh, that's gonna be a one warp team Stalker, but it's not gonna stop the damage. It's gonna be up to 5. These sentries eating the Nexus really didn't do much. Not that I was expecting too much out of those sentries. It looks like ZOUN is gonna be forced to recall, and so will be ZEST. Oh my, that one Stalker barely survives. Beautiful force field out of ZOUN, killing 5 of the probes out of ZEST, stopping his economy lead in the means of the earlier second Nexus. And is gonna also stop the proxy by killing that pylon. ZOUN is very much in a leading position, but he needs to make something out of his powerful army right now. Otherwise, it will be all to waste. And more elucidated phoenixes are gonna start chasing down that oracle to make sure he won't deal too much damage by being unnoticed. But right now, ZOUN is gonna hit at the front door. That's a lot of sentries for ZEST, but after all of that hallucinations, man, they do not have a lot of energy. That oracle, how did it survive? Beautiful.
He's just barely getting out of there. Now, ZOUN is kind of iffy on diving on in here because the force field can definitely section off some of these stalkers. Instead, he's going to actually shade in 2 adepts into the mineral line. Especially without the shield battery, he's going to be able to get, looks like 4 total probes. Yeah, 4 total probes. Maybe 5? Can we get 5? Yeah. Oh, just only 4.
I mean, not too bad actually. Like that is damage. Like right now, ZOUN has a workers lead, which is pretty much crazy considering his second Nexus was dropped like 3 to 4 minutes after the one of ZEST. Well, not 4. Let's say 2.5. But yeah, I like the decision out of ZOUN. It really felt like he couldn't break past without Blink. He's gonna get Blink right now, and after that, he's gonna need to keep up with the scouting. And these hallucinated phoenixes are doing just that. ZEST is gonna start making his own Blink, while ZOUN is gonna be adding up his own Robo. The game is basically reset right now, with ZOUN a little bit more in control of the map, but not by a far margin.
Yeah, we do see kind of a little bit of deviation. We see that Robo is a bit quicker for ZOUN, but on the other hand, we do see a quicker +1 weapons for ZEST. So that's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But it looks like both players will finally kill off those proxy gateways out in the field. But ZEST's army is a bit out of position here. These stalkers of ZOUN is kind of like at the front door knocking.
All right, very clever recall out of ZEST. It's gonna mean he's not gonna have recall ready for a lot of time. There's a stasis ward right here for ZOUN, which will help in case a fight suddenly begins. But it doesn't really look like it. ZOUN is gonna blink on top of these Nexus. That's what I was talking about when I was telling you about map control. That's map control at its finest. Having the chance to just get in there, blink, and oh my god, do not tell me that Nexus survived, my friend, because that was crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't snipe that down. I was thinking he was just going to go ahead and focus fire on it, but I think that might have been that might be a huge mistake that might bite him in the butt later on in the game, but we shall see.
That's 2 adepts gonna shade pass, gonna cancel actually the shade. Very clever decision over here. And ZEST, gonna get a few stalkers blocked in that stasis word. But I have to admit, the real thing, the real heroes of ZEST games right now have been the observers. Well, the observer, most like. The vision that ZEST has been able to spread throughout the map via hallucinations, and these observers really helped him survive. That Nexus would be dead without that observer.
Also, his Stalker Sentry force that was killing out that proxy pylon would have been dead if he didn't scout that, you know, the ZOUN's army was in the front. That kind of prompted him to recall his army there.
Oh, the stasis ward is just about to finish over here for ZOUN. Oh, Will he get... Oh my, that's the Observer. Told you, the real hero. Both armies are very sizable, but that's one huge difference. ZEST has his +1 upgrade. ZOUN does not. Beautiful force field. No Archon or Colossi to pop them up. And that's a first blink forward for ZOUN. This fight is not going places for the Red Protoss player. All of these Stalkers are just melting to the Immortals. The damage that ZEST can deal is through the roof. And another round of force fields is gonna block the Red Protoss out of his own third base. The Nexus survives. And ZEST actually lost all of his sentries. That Warp Prism was treading in such a dangerous path. But ZOUN will survive and will still have a sizable army. Don't get fooled by army being the same amount, because ZEST has the upgrade advantage. If a fight steers right now, ZEST is definitely going to have the advantage. His army is a lot out of position though. Recall should be available right now. But ZOUN is making such a decisive maneuver. ZEST is gonna try to dive on top of these Nexus and he's gonna get it. It looks like it's gonna go down without even blinking an eye. And ZOUN is gonna dive on top of that natural. Another recall gets issued, and that's a lot of units on two different sides. The Warp Prism barely survives once more, and ZOUN is committing on the right side. ZEST found with his pants down, and he's gonna take such a huge amount of damage. Immortals in the front to tank the bulk of the damage. Violent gonna empower everything. It looks like ZEST is gonna try to set up a surround, but it's not gonna matter a lot, because these forces have been blocking ZEST off of his own third for such a huge amount of time. ZOUN goes for the decisive maneuver, and you're damn right he will take an advantage. Another plane forward on top of the Stalkers out of ZEST. That's a micro battle. The upgrade advantage trying to do its best for ZEST. But ZOUN is just gonna reinforce that location even more. That one more prism staying alive. It's such a huge boon to his army. Immortals shredding these Stalkers. Shield battery overcharge. Gonna finish right now. This means that ZEST does not have another means of defense. Another blink forward from ZOUN. And that's gonna be it, I feel. ZOUN gonna take such a huge bulk of the army of ZEST. Beautiful concave on everything that ZEST has over here. These shield batteries doing their best. And now the Immortals are into the action as well. The Warp Prism survives with 5 health. A bleed forward, and the Warp Prism is gonna fall, but ZOUN still has way too much stuff. It's gonna be game number 3 going into ZOUN's pocket. The score is still in favor of ZEST, but man, that was a game.
Oh man, that was tight. But the thing, the momentum swinger, I think, was the Immortals. The Immortals added such firepower to ZOUN's army. And as great as this Blink Stalker Micro is, those Immortal are just so damn good against Stalkers.
Yeah, it was such a good subsequence of moves from ZOUN. All these right choices, one after the other. Very decisive maneuvers, very commanding choices. Getting them up and doing what the Protoss player do best with them up. And that's setting up a huge ball of army that cannot be flanked. And that is exactly what happened. And ZOUN was able to get one part of the army without fighting the other out of ZEST. And that was it. Half of the army supply of ZEST suddenly plummeted. And ZOUN didn't blink an eye, really.
Yeah, I mean, when you're fighting with half your army there, it's going to be definitely in favor of the... I mean, in this case, in favor of ZEST. And now ZOUN, he's making a comeback. He is starting to get there. He's got the first points on the scoreboard. Let's see if he can get another one and tie up the series.
We're on Pillars of Gold for the 4th set of this Best of 9 series. Here is where the Blue Protoss is currently spawning. Playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming. It is ZEST.
And spawn here at the bottom left corner of the map. You see red Protoss player. looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is ZOUN. Huh, looks like a little bit of a deviation here. I'm a little curious because we see ZEST kind of building his buildings on the bottom, but on the other side, ZOUN actually choosing to build on the high ground.
Yeah, probably due to ZEST showing what he can do with the contain, feels like he's a little bit more safe on the high ground, or maybe wants to go for something aggressive. I'm not too sure about this. ZOUN is blocking the natural nexus pretty damn well, and ZEST is gonna be very slow on his build order this game. Not having that Nexus first is gonna hurt him so much. He was going for Nexus first. He's gonna have the gateway just because the Nexus was blocked. And ZOUN already making moves this game.
Well, this time around, a little bit different from the first game. Of course, ZEST took the simulator of ZOUN as well as the natural. This time around, a little bit better response. We did see ZOUN kind of parking his probe near the gas to make sure that doesn't happen again. But we do see once again that pylon block here at the natural. That's going to definitely need to be cleared out. Now ZOUN actually do note that ZOUN did go for 1 gate, not 2 gate. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and probably go for more of a tech path with maybe a faster Stargate instead. We shall see very, very soon.
I love this out of ZOUN. Basically repaying ZEST with his own coin right here. It's just been hurting the Protoss, the blue Protoss so much this game. Everything is gonna be so slow compared to ZOUN. Of course, ZEST is gonna get the block as well, but due to the game plan being different for ZEST and having to adapt to this situation, I feel like ZOUN is in a slight advantage. Just because his actual tech is gonna be up a little bit earlier.
Alright, looks like we have a Stargate versus Stargate kind of game here. Will we see mass Phoenixes? Will we see an Oracle? I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, Stargate, beautiful opener on Pillars of Gold in this matchup, can lead to many different scenarios. It's gonna be a Phoenix first for ZOUN, which I do like a lot already. And I'm very curious to see what is ZEST gonna make out of this Stargate. Back in the days when Phoenix versus Phoenix was the actual meta for PvP, ZEST wasn't considered to be one of the best Stargate players. He was actually the one who tried most of the times just to do different stuff, to go for the most heavier arcane style, the drops with the Warp Prism and stuff such as that. But he's gonna try and go for the Phoenix style this game, and it's gonna be a very interesting situation because this was the premier style of this matchup for such a long time.
Yeah, this used to be like the go-to build in PvP. Now I think with maybe the shield battery that kind of changed it a little bit, because with the shield battery overcharge you can keep your stalker a bit alive a bit more. So even if the Phoenixes lift up the stalkers are a bit more resistant. But I still feel like this playstyle, this mass Phoenix kind of build strategy is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's very versatile. Most than anything else, it's very good for defense in many different situations. It kind of fell out of fashion also with the Warp Prism nerf, since Phoenixes weren't quite needed anymore, with the Warp Prism being not very common again with the drops in this matchup. Warp Prism is more like a thing you get later in the game for Stalkers and to deal damage with the whole army, not with just drops. So Phoenixes kind of fell out of fashion also for that reason. But this game is gonna be a blast from the past for sure. And just taking a look at Phoenix advantage, we see ZOUN as one more right now, and his second Stargate is gonna be slightly slower for that reason.
Now, of course, the next step is to see who is going to be able to get that Phoenix range the quickest. Because once you get that Phoenix range advantage over your opponent, that really skews in favor of the player that has that upgrade. So yeah, looks like actually ZEST is going to be the first one throwing down that fleet beacon. So we might actually see him getting that Phoenix range a bit quicker.
Yeah, it's very important to get that upgrade first. It looks like ZOUN doesn't really want to let his opponent have the time to do that. This Nexus is absolutely certainly gonna get cancelled. And right now ZOUN has quite a sizable amount of Phoenixes over here. One more competitive opponent. It's gonna be energy use on that one. But the shield batteries are there for ZEST. Doesn't really look like ZOUN can pick up a fight right here. Recall, clever decision. Here comes the Phoenix range out of ZEST, while ZOUN is still just halfway through his own fleet beacon.
Yeah, so that's gonna give a period of a small period of time where ZEST can possibly kind of get on top of ZOUN's Phoenix. At the very least, kind of force him back, and maybe that kind of forces ZOUN to not be able to defend his mineral line, and ZEST can kind of pick up some probes there. But you got to be careful with these Phoenix versus Phoenix builds. Those Phoenix versus Phoenix games, you know, it could really swing very heavily one way or the other.
The next step to getting the advantage in these kind of scenarios is +1 weapons, which is gonna be a little bit earlier on for ZOUN. But as you can see, ZEST with his upgraded Phoenixes is already kind of wrecking past everything without really breaking a sweat. Phoenixes falling one after the other for ZOUN. That wasn't very good. Shield body overcharge cannot do much with these Phoenixes dealing so much DPS. And right now, ZOUN is gonna find himself quite behind. 9 Phoenixes to 12. His own Phoenix range is just gonna finish, and that +1 needs to do miracles this game.
We see ZEST adding 2 more Stargates, so he is all in with this air tech here. And right now, knowing that he's picked off a few Phoenixes, he's going to be comfortable enough to actually throw down a really quick 4th base. And that's going to be huge because with this build, the most important resource is the gas, not the minerals. And with that 4th base, that means 2 extra gas to mine off of. If ZOUN does not, leave this, leave this unanswered, ZEST is gonna kind of slowly but surely pull ahead.
And to be honest, with this amount of Stargates, this amount of bases, I also feel like ZEST could very well transition once he feels comfortable enough. It's very hard to transition out of Phoenixes. They're considered to be the units you do not transition out of because you just do not have enough of an army and you do not have enough Phoenixes after you do that. But I feel like ZEST has enough of an advantage right now to just do that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always tricky. I mean, it's hard to kind of say when to kind of start transitioning off of Phoenix. I think once he has a more comfortable lead in terms of the Phoenix count, then yeah, I think he can transition. But you don't want to be the guy that kind of transitions a bit too early, and then ZOUN gets a lot more Phoenix, and then he gets on top of your Phoenix, and then you just kind of outright lose the game because of that. While you're trying to get those carriers or tempests out, or maybe even Void Rays.
I feel like that is one of the hardest decisions you can make in this game. Just the Phoenix versus Phoenix playstyle, it's so hard because you have to have such a deep game sense. Transitioning out of Phoenixes, I cannot stress this enough. It's a very tall order. It's very hard to stop making Phoenixes. You just do not suddenly stop. You need to have a very important reason, and sometimes even that is not enough. ZOUN is gonna add a Mothership core to his own Phoenixes. He has the upgrade advantage actually. So this is gonna lead to some interesting situation. Here comes the Phoenixes out of ZEST trying to pick up a fight. And it looks like both players are gonna be content with just killing one Phoenix off of each other.
Alright, it's looks like there's gonna be a defensive advantage here for ZOUN with the shield battery and the cannon. So ZEST doesn't want to really engage too far, especially since he's actually, ZOUN does have 3 stalkers underneath as well. But we do see right now currently 36 Phoenixes versus 23. If ZEST decides to, he can just pretty much fly right into the Phoenixes of ZOUN if you want to, but you just want to be a bit extra careful.
Mama ship has come, and there's no observer. Ooh, tricky situation. ZEST needs to kill the mothership core to deal any amount of damage. And look at ZOUN, just go. That's nothing to spot these Phoenixes. ZOUN, do not go too far away from Mama. Oh my, that mothership. Such a devastating maneuver out of ZOUN. I do love this. That's probably the best usage of a mothership I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, not only can it kind of cloak the...
Very easy.
Yeah, not only can it cloak the Phoenixes, but if you wanted to, you can actually throw down the time warp to slow down the attack of the Phoenixes. Now, still, the numbers are heavily in favor of ZEST, though. He does still have 36 Phoenixes compared to 22, but yeah, without that detection, he can't really get on top of the Phoenixes.
To Oracle, Iron production for ZEST is going to be very important. It looks like ZOUN, with that mothership, found this sweet spot in which he feels like he can transition out. He's gonna make 4 Tempests. 4 Tempests. I feel like 3 one-shot up Phoenix, right? Maybe 2, actually. No, I think 3. And with +2 air weapons, those Tempests are gonna deal such a huge amount of damage.
Now, of course, the Phoenix does have a higher DPS.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the Tempest needs to be buffered. Kind of like how, you know, you need some charge lot to kind of help buffer some Stalkers against Marauders. But yeah, I do like where this is heading. Both players are kind of just macroing like crazy. They know that this is going to probably get into the really late game, so they're just kind of expanding left and right. And I do like ZOUN kind of throwing down random buildings, pylons out in the map to spot these Phoenixes.
Time Warp gonna be used by ZOUN's mothership. He's not gonna eat anything, but these Tempests already showing their worth. Oh my, the Mama is exposed, and that's devastating already. Losing that is probably gonna be game ending. Look at the supply out of ZOUN, just suddenly dropping. Oh, that mothership was super exposed. Gonna be chrono boosting one at the 4th base. But for now, ZEST has a lot of time to get damage. These Tempests are exposed as well. Shibari overcharge, it's gonna be used. ZEST is gonna dive on top of everything. Tempests are falling one after the other. 2 is gonna go down. But ZEST doesn't really have enough, it looks like. Tempests sure do pack a punch, don't they?
Yeah, but they attack so slow that, I mean, these Phoenixes just attack these Tempests so quickly that even the shield batteries can't even recharge them quick enough. So ZEST is looking to be in a very, very comfortable position. He's going to go ahead and transition to mass Void Rays, getting also the Flux Veins to help them kind of fly around a bit quicker.
It looks like he feels like he killed enough Phoenixes to do that, or maybe he has enough Phoenixes to do that. Void Rays in these kind of scenarios are not that great, but I do feel like in this particular scenario, it's a good call. This is a scenario in which the Phoenixes are not really the biggest problem that ZEST has. So, Void Rays are probably gonna cut it.
Yeah,
but even then, it's gonna be very close.
Yeah, I think the idea is to kind of use the Void Rays to kind of target the Tempest. You're gonna charge up those Void Rays, kill those Tempests really quickly, and then of course you have the Phoenix advantage already, and so your Phoenix can kind of outright kill his ZOUN's Phoenixes. But let's see what ZOUN goes for. His answer. It looks like he's gonna go ahead and remake that mothership. But I think he's gonna need.
And gateways by ZEST, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
12. Sorry to interrupt, but that is kind of huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I think the idea is if there's a huge battle and somehow, some way he loses, you can just remax on mass gateway. And I mean, I'm not sure if that's the best answer, but we'll see if he even needs the gateway units, right?
Well, a lot of zealots kind of just destroy Phoenixes, so who knows? Alright, the big fight is gonna steer up. It looks like ZOUN upgrade advantage is really doing some miracles, but Prismatic overcharge. Man, that ability is melting through the units out of ZOUN. It looks like in the end, the upgrade advantage is gonna be the most important thing though. These Phoenixes out of ZOUN have been microed like hell. And right now, ZOUN is just gonna dive on top of these few last remains of the Skytos army of ZEST. Beautiful fight from both sides. Of course, with +2 against +0, ZOUN kind of destroyed the army of ZEST, even with Prismatic Overcharge. And ZOUN, right now, just getting on top of that 5th base of ZEST with, I'd say, like 20 more supply out of army and better upgrades. And ZEST is just now getting charged. He cannot really transition right now. He will just straight up lose if he decides to transition right now. And ZEST is gonna try to walk around the army of ZOUN to deal some damage of his own. But man, I do feel like ZOUN kind of put the nail in the coffin with this game.
Yeah, what a turnaround. I mean, ZEST looked to be in a pretty comfortable position, but I mean, going for that Void Ray might have been, you know, kind of the wrong call there. They didn't really do too much. They killed the mothership, but yeah, but I mean, he can just remake it very easily, right? So
yeah, it's -400, -400, right? So it's just that. All right, ZOUN close to be maxed out. Charge is on its way for the Red Protoss as well, but right now, just look at these two armies. ZOUN just has so much more army, such better upgrades. These Tempests are getting very free damage on top of everything right now. And look at this Tempest shot. Just getting free kills. ZEST is gonna drop down a Templar's Archive. That's a little bit of a desperation move to drop those storms and try to close the game that way. It's not gonna be easy.
yeah, I think it's probably more effective if he turns them into Archons, because the Archons can actually get on top of the Phoenix and don't have to worry about the Phoenix lifting them up. And then he could use the Blink Stalkers of his to kind of snipe down the Tempest of ZOUN. I think that's kind of the idea he wants to probably go for, but yeah, it looks like he is going to go ahead and morph them into Archons. Now that's a little bit interesting. He should have gone for DTs, I think, because High Templars actually takes up more gases. But anyhow, looks like we might have an engagement here out in the middle.
Yeah, ZOUN cannot back off from that location. Tempests are too slow and they're gonna get blinked up on by ZEST Stalkers. These Phoenixes are everything that survives for the Red Protoss. And those Tempests sure at their last day going in a blast. Stalkers getting on top of everything, blinking on top of those Tempests, no chance. Charge Lords trying to get on top of the Stalkers, meanwhile the Phoenix is trying to wrap around the Stalkers. It's a lot of gateways for both players. ZOUN still has the maxed out supply, but he's gonna lose a lot of his own stuff, and that's so many Stalkers. 6 more Tempests are incoming. I do not feel like Tempests are the right call. 2 Archons are gonna come as well, but ZOUN is losing base after base. Phoenix is still trying to wrap around the army of ZEST. But right now, that air upgrade advantage is to nothing. The ground advantage in upgrade is in favor of ZEST, and is gonna make that work.
Alright, does he sack this base? Looks like he doesn't feel quite comfortable enough to engage, but it looks like he is going to finally do so. Oh man.
Oh, these Stalkers dealing so much damage. The Archons getting on top of all of the Phoenixes at once. So many Phoenixes falling after a couple of these Archon attacks. And now the Phoenixes lifting everything they can, trying to get the best out of this engagement. The Tempests are still alive, but the same cannot be said about the Phoenixes. All the supplies ZOUN has in those big airships. Sorry about that. But the Stalkers are still alive for ZEST, and they're gonna blink on top of the Tempest. More Stalkers are gonna be issued by ZOUN, but it doesn't really feel like he can stop this. The last Tempest is there to make a stand, but it won't last long. Blink forward by ZEST. This decisive maneuver is gonna be a 3-1 advantage for the blue Protoss player.
Oh man, what a smart transition there. throwing down those 11 gateways. He could have just stick with the Stargate tech. He could have just gone for maybe carriers or something. But nope, he went for a gateway transition just in case the air tech didn't pan out quite as well. And that kind of sealed the deal, because by that time, ZOUN didn't really have as much answer for him. He was trying to transition to some charge lot, some Archons, but it just wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful move by ZEST. It was feeling like he was one behind after that, but so many turns of events, one after the other. Beautiful game, beautiful choices on both sides, and ZEST was just I'd say the more experienced player in this scenario.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm actually surprised. Like, I mean, this has been some beautiful PvP, but we haven't even yet seen a single disruptor in the series,
Yeah.
and I'm a little like perplexed, because usually in PvP we at least see some type of disruptor play, but both these players, they're changing it up, kind of showing the beauty of what PvP can be.
Yeah, really, just putting into work probably all the different builds, but the disruptors, all these unique styles, these best styles, as we've seen in this last game, the Phoenix versus Phoenix kind of game. And it was, I have to admit, I didn't remember a lot out of those games. It's been, I feel like the last Phoenix versus Must Phoenix has to be like around 3 years ago. So it was feeling a lot better than it used to be. Just the meta shifting a little bit more into more options just helped this style shine even brighter. And it was a beautiful game. One kind of game I wish I can see more in the future.
Yeah. All right. Looks like ZEST is gonna be heading into game number 5 with a 3-1 lead. So here we go. Game number 5 on Romanticide LE.
Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Here's the Blue Protoss leading the series, playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming. It is ZEST.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map, representing Team Alpha X, hailing from Korea, it is ZOUN.
Alright, bigger map this time. Probably not gonna see any weird shenanigans. But the bigger the map, the better is the proxy, so who knows.
Oh yeah, I definitely think this is a great map to proxy, especially since, you know, like this area, I'm not sure how to explain it, but the one like near the mineral line blockage, like that's a great place to kind of proxy some tech buildings, but doesn't look like both these players have yet decided to proxy at the time being, so looks like we might go into a kind of a normal game.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be double getaway from both players, and as soon as you said that location, ZOUN immediately sent a probe out scouting exactly where you said. Oh, well, never mind, it's not a scouting probe. Yeah. Alright. Proxy it is, and in this weird location, I don't even feel like it's a Stargate. Maybe it's a Dark Shrine proxy?
Possibly. I mean, why would you? I mean, it could be, but I don't know. We shall see. It's too far to be a proxy robo or
Or a Stargate.
yeah. I think a Stargate, it will be a little bit closer, but oh wow, it's gonna be a Stargate. Alrighty.
Why did you do this on the other side if you wanted to do a Stargate?
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious as well. Now, ZEST did scout the main base of ZOUN, seeing that there is a really late pylon, second pylon, so he should have his spidey senses tingling right now, and I think he should just like start just scouting around, because he knows, I think, or has a hunch that there is a proxy out there.
The scouting probe out of ZEST has been killed by the Adepts of ZOUN though, so...
Ah,
it's gonna be Adepts versus Adepts right here. Oh, the first volley is gonna go in favor of ZEST. So ZOUN needs to shade away from there. Okay, both players have their probe at the ready to block the wall before the shades can go past. And it's gonna be one... actually, yeah, okay. Shade out is gonna complete and it's gonna be a... Adept battle, which is gonna be easily won by ZOUN, it looks like. Oh my. Ooh. Yeah. Not too shabby by ZOUN. That's more damage than it looks like. That's full map control just with that.
Yeah, now he's gonna go ahead and fly in here with the Oracle. Let's see. Oh wow, the wall this is actually completely free.
Yeah,
and open.
That's some free real estate for ZOUN over here. So many probes are gonna fall one after the other. It's gonna be 8 kills. And you know what? There's one more Adept making its way. Oh, it's just gonna be making more Adepts, it looks like. ZOUN. Oh my, that's such a devastating event. 26 worker to 17? Yes, the upgrade, well, not the upgrade, the tech advantage as well. But not really. We see Blink on one side in the making. ZOUN just started his own Twilight Council. But he has full map control.
Yeah.
Which is always good.
And he's kind of forcing the stalkers of ZEST to be in the main base. So right now he can't really even defend his natural properly. Oh my god.
That's not a bad move by ZEST. He's gonna lose 2 more Adepts just by getting 1. And now it's again a very easy situation for ZOUN to just get in, get some scouting, get out, get full control of the low ground of ZEST. He cannot even produce probes out of this Nexus without fear of them being sniped. And as you can see, all the army of ZEST is just tightly packed around the main Nexus. And I doubt he will get out of there anytime soon.
Already a great start here for ZOUN. He definitely needs it because he is down 3-1. He doesn't want to be down at the 4-1. That's going to mean that ZEST is going to be, match points, and it's going to be definitely hard to win 4 games in a row from at that point. So, having this great start, potentially leading him into the second point on the scoreboard for him, and then we should have ourselves a nice little tight series.
It's looking like this game is fully in the hands of ZOUN. ZEST is gonna send quite a sizable amount of Stalkers. The armies are quite close in supply. And with Blink being up, ZEST might be able to actually deal some damage. There's no Immortal on this side, there's no Robo actually on this side. Shield batteries are still gonna be very important. And went behind, Dark Shrine. So it's gonna be a Dark Shrine for ZEST. Here comes the first real battle between these 2 armies. It looks like ZEST is gonna try to do its best, but the shield batteries are just that good. There's gonna be more Stalkers incoming from ZEST, but ZOUN, as you can see, is just getting a huge advantage. Guardian Shield is also gonna help out Dawn against ZEST army. Finally, the sentries do fall down. This Oracle is very low in health, but you know what? ZEST doesn't want to waste his own time. ZOUN is gonna get game number 5, and that was an easy victory for the Red Protoss.
Yeah, ZOUN was just way too ahead in terms of the economy, the worker count. So ZEST really needed to make that attack count. Just wasn't able to, especially since Blink just finished right when the attack started. So yeah, he wasn't really going to do anything to ZOUN. So at that point, he could only just GG.
Yeah, it was just loss after loss after loss after loss. It was just taking too many losses. Many people say that when 2 Adepts get in your own main base in a PvP, you kind of lose the game, just straight up. But to be honest, it was more than that. It was every single Adept battle between these 2 players went in favor of ZOUN. And in the end, ZEST didn't have defenses, was forced to make units without having economy. It was a kind of a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think the main mistake was not having that wall off, because even if the Oracle came in, he had the Stalkers to kind of thwart the Oracle off, but he, with the addition of the Adepts, allowing them to go in, he needed to choose either to target fire on the Adepts or on the Oracle, and he chose to target fire on the Adepts, and that left the Oracle able to be freely, picking off of probes left and right. And at that point, it was just too much damage there in terms of workers lost.
Yeah, which is actually a pretty bad choice since the Oracles are way less tanky than Adepts. So, yeah. It went just like it went. New game, new story. Set number 6 of this best of 9. Players very close in skills and in scores. We're on Jagannafa in the top right hand corner. And here, the Blue Protoss still leading the series 3-2. He's currently spawning, playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming. Someone likes to call him the best, but he is ZEST.
And spawning here at the bottom left corner of the map is the red Protoss, playing for Alpha X, looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is ZOUN.
Alright, ZOUN is gonna send his probe just basically at the same time as ZEST. So I doubt it's gonna be anything too crazy out of both these two players, just some scouting and the double gateway opener. Jagannafa is a big map. It's somewhat hard to proxy in here as well because it's longer and it's not really wide, it's just very long.
Yeah, it has a more narrow shape compared to
so it isn't really hard to keep track of your own side of the map. That makes proxy play just worse. So it's just a straight up good old macro map. And we're gonna see what is gonna happen over here. Macro and PvP do not really go well together.
Yeah, I remember even back in the day, like all PvPs like lasted like 1 base or 2 base, or even if it's a third base, it would go for like a fake third base or something. And it was actually a really actually a 2 base timing or something.
Yeah, it's just the golden rule of PvP back in the days. Did not ever expand. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's like, you know, whichever Protoss expands beyond 3 bases, like, oh yeah, that one is gonna lose.
Yeah, it's just straight up like that.
All right, looks like both players are gonna open up with double stalkers here.
Yeah, once again, it's a long map that's not gonna get as much of aggressive posture as they want to have. It looks like First Blood is gonna go in favor of ZOUN, with the probe of ZEST falling down. Not that is very significant, but ZEST is gonna be making double sentry against the 3rd and 4th Stalker of ZOUN. One side we have map control, on the other side we have scouting vision. So that's pretty much playstyle choices. I do like the sentries more.
Yeah, same here. I think, you know, allowing them to kind of build up the energy to scout, and then also, you know, like you said, this is not the shortest map, so you know you can kind of get away with making the sentries, and you just need to throw down the shield battery, and that's all. You should be able to be fine dealing with the 4 stalkers that ZOUN has coming across the map.
This probe out of ZOUN is definitely up to no good. And there's a Twilight Council.
Oh wow.
Oh, wait a second. Stalker's getting a very good fight over here. Shield battery is gonna go up, and that's a beautiful force field. It looks like in the end, it's not gonna be more than just the 1 Stalker that fell for ZEST, but that's already pretty much a lot. These sentries do not have a lot of energy. It's gonna be 3 Stalkers against the 4 out of ZOUN, but ZOUN still has this probe up in the top left-hand corner. And he's gonna be having probably an easier time controlling map right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there by ZEST, kind of, you know, leaving those 2 stalkers out in the open, allowing them to get at least one of the stalkers to get picked off. No, he does lose a stalker as well as shield battery, so not the greatest start here for ZEST.
Yeah, ZOUN is gonna be sending out an hallucinated phoenix, gonna get a lot of scouting information. It looks like it's gonna be pretty much exactly the same that is happening on his own side, aside from the robo.
Oh man.
That is a whole new difference. The robo gets Nexus. Oh my, ZOUN wants to play the aggressor, and ZEST, yeah, being a defensive player in this scenario, not gonna be easy against the robo such in an earlier timing. With Blink going down, well, with being Blink being finished, sorry, and the Warp Prism being able to reinforce the location, even a small advantage can slowly but surely just avalanche.
Yeah, this could be very reminiscent of the game on Submarine where ZOUN had the Blink Stalkers, but he also had Immortals, and it was going against the Blink Stalkers of ZEST, so he kind of straight out lost that fight just because the Immortals was just so strong and had so much more firepower. So we shall see if ZOUN does go for that timing attack. He does have a Warp Prism on the way, so it kind of indicates that he is ready to go and possibly make a move across the map.
Yeah. Similarly to the other game, we're gonna see here as well the +1 ground weapons is gonna go down for ZEST and not for ZOUN. Was gonna be diving a little bit heavier on gateways and Twilight Console upgrades with charge going up as well. And maybe a couple immortals being done. But being this a very long map, you kind of have to be careful with your all-ins. It's not like Submarine, in which you can do one decisive maneuver, just kind of shifting around the army of your opponent and just do that. In this map, you really cannot do that. You just need to have a straight up fight and you need to win that fight. That's what macro maps are for.
Looks like both players are adding additional gateways here. They're kind of powering up. They got their dirt bases. Looks like they're ready to go for an attack. I think once charge is finished, that might actually make a nice timing because that actually lines up with the Templar Archive as well for ZOUN. So, charge will be finished. You can warp in some Archons as well. That could be actually a pretty deadly timing there.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be very much in favor of ZOUN once the fight starts to stir up. Archons are just crazy good in this matchup. They just kind of melt past everything. Back in the days whenever it came to these kind of scenarios, the player with the most Archons usually won. So ZEST was one of those players who just kind of rushed to Archons to have that Archon advantage and won a lot of game by that. But we will see what will happen over here on Jagannatha. It looks like ZOUN is gonna be getting some scouting information and free probes killed with a couple of depths just being sent through. Just making sure how strong the army of his opponent is. But ZEST is gonna be having that upgrade advantage, and this is gonna be a very difficult fight for both players, really.
Yeah, and looks like might possibly see. Yeah, looks like ZEST is not quite sure of the army position here of ZOUN. ZOUN's gonna only send in 3 Zealots here, but all of his army is actually outside here looking to intercept.
Yeah, that's some very good blame forward by ZOUN. He's gonna be trapping up the army on one side and out the other on another side, and now he's just hacking at this base over here. One of the Archon is gonna fall, the other one is still pretty healthy, tanking so much damage, popping those force fields. And look at this Archon go! That damage through the roof for ZOUN, even with upgrade disadvantage. It's just way too much damage out of the Archons. They're just that good in this matchup, guys. Make Archons.
That's the lesson of today. Make Archons.
They're very good, guys. They're very good.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was such a beautiful fight from ZOUN.
Yeah, and so smart of him too, because he could have sent like the majority of his army into that left side base, the top left side base, the 4th one. But he only sent 3 to kind of lure the army of ZEST out. And then once his ZEST sent his stalkers there, He's just gonna intercept in the middle, and basically ZEST was kind of fighting at 2 places at once. And again, with the Archon able to tank up so much damage, just superior army there for ZOUN that was able to just overwhelm ZEST there.
Yeah, definitely. Just, I'd say, kind of a spree in ZOUN's favor. Even that game, the Mass Phoenix versus Mass Phoenix, was feeling a lot like he could have won that. So it's really feeling a lot like ZOUN is kind of taking control of this series in a way.
Yeah, now he is tied up the series at 3-3, and that means we head into game number 7 with someone possibly gonna be able to take the series lead here and be 1 game away from clinching this best of 9 series.
All right, it's gonna be on Light Shade. So last of the 7 maps. Then he's gonna be every single map open again for the last of the last 2 games. It depends. Says go. All right, gonna head into game number 7. This is gonna be so important. I feel like this is probably the turning point of this series. This is probably going to be the most important game of this series, and whoever wins this is at match point. And yeah, welcome to this best of 3 between ZOUN and ZEST, guys.
Yeah, and also after this game here, we're gonna see kind of the map reset it, because it is the best of 9 and there's only 7 maps in the map pool. So after this, the players can choose whichever map they want to play on.
All right, set number 7. Last but not least, we're gonna play on Light Shade. Bottom right hand corner is where the blue Protoss is currently spawning. Looking forward to get that match point. Will he be able to do that? It is ZEST.
And spawning here at the top left corner of the map is the red Protoss from Alpha X. He wants to be the best of the best. It is ZOUN.
Alright, we've been playing a game on Jagannatha, quite possibly the largest map in the last 2 years. And then we're gonna play on Light Shade, quite possibly one of the smallest one in a long time, alongside Submarine and some others. This map is very short, has a very low amount of bases, and can really lead to some kind of interesting situation, because there's a lot of high ground and low ground as well. This map is a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. And it is a bit wider compared to Jagannatha, so you might see some proxies out there, but it looks like both players have not yet sent a probe to kind of place any proxy pylons, so looks like it's going to be a non-proxy kind of game.
Yeah, it very much looks like one of these situations in a series, one of these scenarios in a series in which both players kind of try to reset to their best gameplay and try to work on that, improving those mistakes, just improving small things, but just kind of trying to play the average standard, because that's where they feel the most comfortable at, and the stakes are getting quite high at this point of the series.
Yeah, there's kind of less room here to make any mistakes, as it's kind of coming down to the wire. There's only potentially three more games left, or if one player does win 2 straight, potentially 2 games only left in this series.
Alright, it looks like someone is gonna hide a probe once more, or he's just looking for proxies actually, or maybe he's gonna hide that in the end. But it doesn't really look like any of those 2 players is trying to do any decisive maneuvers of any kind.
Alright, this is going to take a slightly faster Nexus here. Not too not too detrimental or anything like that. But let's see what tech both players go for. Looks like a Twilight Council being plotted down here for both players. So looks like both players are going to go ahead and open up with a Blink Stalker play. And yeah, both these players are pretty comfortable with the Blink Stalkers in general.
Yeah, it looks like ZOUN really wants to be the aggressor this time as well. These are Stalkers, of course, being in the middle of the map. And that one probe on the right-hand side is just... I do not feel like it is up to something good. I really feel like it is gonna drop down a pylon sooner rather than later.
Whenever you say the probe is up to no good, I am reminded of like the Harry Potter saying.
That is exactly what I think about when I say
it. Yeah, I solemnly swear I am up to no good.
Yeah, that's as soon as a probe gets out of the Nexus, they have to tell it.
in the little probe voice.
Yeah. Remember, guys, there's no good probe. All probes are evil. Inherently evil as well.
Oh man,
just chaotic evil as well, I'd say. If I'd have to give them an alignment, they'd be chaotic evil. 100%. Oh, adept. Alright, 2 probes. Not too shabby. Some damage going into ZEST minerals line. But in the end, nothing too crazy. Once more, ZEST is gonna be the player dropping down the forge and getting the upgrades. But in both the games in which he had that upgrade advantage, it really didn't pay off in his favor.
Alright, hallucinated Phoenix Scouts by both players being sent out. Just want to go ahead and check out what each player is going for. Is the other player throwing down a bunch of gateways? That's a good indicator that he's going for a kind of a timing push. Or is he getting a third Nexus, kind of teching up, getting his upgrades? That kind of tends to lead more to a macro-minded mindset. So, getting that scout is really important during this part of the game.
Yeah, of course, it's gonna be pretty much mandatory to know what your opponent is up to in these stages to decide your next move. And talking about next moves, we see a Robo going up for ZEST quite on the late side compared to ZOUN, but it doesn't really feel like ZOUN has done a lot with that Robo. Actually, that Observer is the first thing that is gonna get out of there. It's not gonna be a Warp Prism first. It's not gonna be any decisive maneuver this time. And it kind of looks like ZEST is slowly but steadily getting a tiny little bit more than his opponent.
Yeah, it looks like ZOUN is going to go ahead and get the faster Templar Archive, and we of course seen how good those Archons were in the last game. We should see ZEST throwing down that soon, but if he doesn't throw down that soon, at least he is making the faster Immortals. So that you want at least a Mortal or Archons, either one. Archons, of course, they're more tankier. They're pretty tanky, and they do splash damage. So they're
the most important thing, they pop force fields. That's probably.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. They do help pop those force fields.
Oh, that shield is gonna be used by ZOUN. Not a lot can be lost there. And let's see if ZEST learned a lesson, because Archons are once more making their way through the map. Oh my. ZOUN is kind of starved in gas, and ZEST is getting +2 ground weapons. It's gonna be close. Both armies just kind of running past each other. It looks like ZOUN is gonna clamp over here with a Warp Prism, but ZEST wants to go for the full-on base trade. Oh, he's gonna be coming over here sooner, and he has an Immortal with this. That means a lot more damage. That one pylon was a very important pylon. That other pylon was another very important pylon. Oh my, ZEST getting very important heads on the other side. ZOUN is gonna go straight up into the main, and he's gonna try to stop the +2 ground weapons upgrade. And it is stopped indeed. Full on base trade. Both players feel like they can win the mid fight. And I do not really feel like it's gonna be easy for either of them to do that. It's gonna be a very difficult situation. Probes just kind of running past each other. It looks like the players kind of just decided to exchange bases.
Yeah, smartly though, both players just immediately targeting fire the pylons powering the gateway, so that there's no more unit production.
Yeah, alright, and Nexus is gonna go up in the natural of ZEST. And it looks like ZEST is gonna send a huge amount of Stalkers through the map. I do not really feel like he wants to fight without his army. Right now, ZEST has the army advantage and the upgrade advantage. But there is the one mighty Archon on one side. The army of ZOUN is out of position. Now it's Pro's being pulled into the fight. Here comes the rest of it. But it's every single loss is permanent right now. So ZEST, good maneuver over there. Gonna take a couple probes down. And those probes are not coming back anytime soon. Oh, another fight between the two main armies. Guardian Shield is gonna be big popped by ZOUN, of course. It looks like in the end, this time ZOUN got a little bit better trade. But then again, 5 more probes are gonna be falling down. Every single one of them counts. 31 to 21 for ZOUN. This is not gonna go well for ZEST. Beautiful force fields for the red Protoss. And yeah, you do not want to fight that army without your sentries and without your immortal. I do really feel like ZEST is overstaying his welcome and not a blink. And blinking forward, ZOUN almost gets one more Stalker.
Man, this is a pretty weird game, it turns out. Both of these players gotta be careful because they're not going to be able to produce any more units in the near future. They gotta rebuild all their production buildings. But you know what? Is it also important to note that ZEST does have a +1 upgrade on his army, so he's gonna have a little bit of a stronger, beefier army, or actually an army that does a bit more extra damage. But army supply pretty close, so it's really gonna be.
The ZOUN remade his pylons so quicker than his opponent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be adding up a lot more stuff. The workers' advantage is really kind of huge right now. Like 33 to 21. At this stage of the game, it's kind of gigantic advantage. 5 gateways being dropped at once by ZOUN. And on the other hand, finally, robotics pay. Some disruptor action with the double robo for ZEST is gonna be what it said in this game. But ZOUN is slowly but steadily getting a huge army advantage. 5 more gateways dropped by ZOUN, gonna be adding up to the pylons he already has. Look like this Archon is gonna be saved by the War Prism, and the army of ZEST is falling one Stalker after the other. It's gonna be up to those disruptors to do the trick, but ZOUN is really in a commanding position.
Yeah, at this point, it's really gonna come down to whoever micros the best, whether it's the Blink Stalkers, whether it's the disruptors. It's gonna be a pretty interesting game going forward. Wouldn't have imagined both these players kind of switching bases at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, that was that would have been kind of a good call, but yeah, right. How do you predict something such as that? It looks like ZOUN wants to go on the offense. He kind of knows he has the stronger army. Of course, the most microble armies in favor of ZEST with those disruptors. And alright, Lieutenant Phoenix is gonna catch what it's about in the base of ZEST. It's gonna be 4 shield batteries. That's a lot of them. The two armies are kind of skirmishing against each other. On one side, we have Guardian Shield being used a little bit earlier. It's gonna finish just now. It's gonna be used again. It doesn't really feel like ZOUN can break through even with that much of an army advantage. He's gonna be heading back home to add 2 more robo of his own. And yeah, that feels like it's gonna be disruptors against disruptors in a bit.
Yeah, I was waiting for this. Finally, it came in the 7th game, but at least we have it. We have a disruptor game.
Yeah, and it's a very important turning point of the series. 3-3 is the score. Whoever wins is at match point. And right now, it really looks like ZEST is slightly ahead just by his army being that bigger, but all that can just immediately shift with one good disruption Nova.
Oh,
Nova, actually doesn't really get too much. This Nova, he's gonna get only one Stalker. Linking forward on top of the Disruptors. The Wood Prism is exposed as well. This is a bad spot for ZOUN. That's a beautiful Purification Nova. Halving the army of ZOUN. But this is gonna be the last Disruptor going up. One Immortal is still up. ZOUN is gonna win the trade, but he definitely didn't feel like he won that one.
yeah, that was a really great flank there. A really great sandwich maneuver by ZOUN, kind of mitigating some of the disruptors shots there. And now he was only down to one disruptor, although he could get a nice little disruptor hit there.
Beautiful Purification Nova. Once more, ZEST barely survives thanks to his Purification Novas. The Archon is finally gonna fall. It was alive for like 10 minutes. And now it's gonna be all about these Stalkers and Disruptors. 3 Disruptors up for ZEST. It doesn't really look like... okay. That is gonna barely miss for ZEST. Doesn't really look like ZOUN is gonna be adding his own... fast enough. That's another beautiful Nova. And ZEST, how did he do that? Nova after Nova. He just instantly gained the advantage. And now he has one base advantage, he has the tech advantage, he has more disruptors. It's just all over the place with the upgrade advantage as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great shape for ZEST here. And now it's going to be up to ZOUN to possibly get some nice disruptor hits. I think that's kind of like his one hope here is to get some nice disruptor hits, a micro better than ZEST, and potentially win the battle and then hopefully win the war. But
it must feel very bad for ZOUN to be ahead for such a long time and then just get deleted by disruptors. But ZEST had a real good call. It was just a very smart choice to go for disruptors early on, just trying to keep pressure with the Stalkers, even getting a lot of losses, and then relying on his own micro to do the work. And man, he did do the work.
Now we see, of course, why disruptors are so popular in PvP.
Yeah, it's gonna be just 4 disruptors against the 2 out of ZOUN. So it's gonna be more Novas for ZEST in a pretty significant way. Also with the better upgrades. Here comes the drop. 1 disruptor goes down for ZEST. That's something in favor of ZOUN. But he's not gonna have Novas for quite a lot. And these Stalkers are just gonna blink forward. Oh, that was a risky move by ZEST, but it's really paying off. Both players making 2 disruptors at a time, and it's probably the most important thing right now. 4 Stalkers being produced at the same time. It looks like every single loss these 2 players take is just not really gonna get replaced. It's just gonna stay there, and more units are gonna come after that. So whoever loses more is gonna be behind right here, right now, without many means of replacing your army quicker than your opponent. Stalker facing each other, gonna go in favor of ZEST with the upgrade advantage and the numbers advantage. ZOUN is gonna be falling a little bit too behind. It's a Twilight Council being dropped down by ZEST. Not fairly certain why.
Well, I think it's probably to research charge because one thing that's good against
yes, charge. Yeah, he already has charge.
Oh, he has? Oh, okay. Oh, maybe he's getting DTs. He did snipe out the observer there of ZOUN. Unfortunately for him, ZOUN didn't make another observer, but I think ZEST is going to go ahead and try to go for some blink DT play behind this.
It definitely is a possibility. It's gonna be fairly expensive, but DTs are very good in those kind of scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bases. There's no cannons, right? So, I mean, this could be really effective.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2 observer being produced by ZEST, but ZOUN still doesn't really have any kind of detection. So Twilight Council being dropped by ZOUN as well, just for a later transition into DTs himself, probably. But ZEST has the army advantage right now. He's gonna try to do its best with it. +1 armor almost done, by the way. Not too sure about +1 armor instead of +2 ground weapons, since Purification Nova's deal just spell damage is not mitigated by armor. But, well.
Okay, looks like the Twilight Council actually thrown down to get the +2 weapons. Yeah, because there's no DT shrines.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I actually also the Templar
Archive, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, ZEST playing this slowly with his advantage. Really not taking any chances. Gonna take a 5th base. Whoever is tuning in just now into this game, just so you know, guys, ZOUN started off in the top left-hand corner and ZEST in the bottom right-hand corner. And look at this layout right now.
Yeah, it has been such a very chaotic and weird game, but here we are, 20 minutes, and we got ourselves a pretty tight game. Although I do give the a little slight advantage here for ZEST with his better upgrades, and also I think he has a bit more. He has 9 to 8 disruptors, so pretty even in the disruptors. Oh, but then he's.
So look at his 5th base earlier as well. So he's
Yeah.
just small advantages, but all of them are just clumping up into one big advantage. The army supply is in favor of ZOUN right now. Oh, yeah. Those Novas are gonna miss, my friend. Zealots are gonna be a problem. And meanwhile, ZOUN is also gonna try to get some damage over here in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, Nova after Nova. Oh my god. ZEST Micro with these disruptors have been so great this far. A flame forward is gonna come for ZEST. Very confident about what he can do. Another great Nova is gonna go down for ZOUN though. And now it's looking like ZOUN is gonna make his decisive maneuver. Big Nova is gonna weave a beautiful, beautiful blink. These Archons are doing their best to keep everything alive and standing. ZOUN and ZEST both losing so much. Playing forward, he's gonna stop that Purification Nova from happening, and he's gonna be 2 more disruptors going into the same for ZOUN. Things escalated so quickly for the Red Protoss once those Archons and the other disruptors came into the party, and now ZEST, doubling the army supply of his opponent, is ready to put an end to this game in some way or another.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go for an attempted charge a lot run by here, trying to buy himself enough time. He is down by army. He is down in the overall supply. He's trying to kind of muster up some time to kind of muster up enough of an army here. But man, that battle was pretty crazy. And ZEST, I think ZEST can just go ahead and go across the map and just outright win.
Yeah, same. He doesn't really want to waste his advantage by running his Stalkers into a bunch of Purification Novas. But I do feel like he has this game in his backpack and just needs to secure it right now. Oh, that was heartbreaking. That was one of the hardest battles I've ever seen in this game. That battle was so hard to fight on both sides. And man, ZEST showing us why he's in the top tier of StarCraft 2 players ever. Just getting that experienced fight, just getting all the pieces together, and getting a huge, beautiful concave once the time arrives. Oh, the Purification Nova's gonna go down on... Oh my god! Stalkers falling left and right for ZEST. ZEST, what are you doing? On the other end, ZOUN is gonna lose a bunch of his own Stalkers as well. But ZEST just basically sacrificed off his army. He still has so much that he can do that, but that was horrible from him. Meanwhile, ZOUN is gonna be losing so much, so many disruptors up, just kind of keeping his army at bay, and ZEST finally getting in the... I have to call this natural, but it's not a natural. And on the other side, ZOUN trying to do its best with a few Dark Templars, but really not cutting the deal right now. He's gonna be losing his main base, let's call it that. But yeah, ZEST commanding position, just killing stuff after stuff out of ZOUN, and these disruptors keeping the army of the Red Protoss at bay. Dark Templars really doing their best right now, really managing to deal some damage, kill a couple Nexus. But ZOUN needs to replace so many structures, so many important structures.
Yeah, Lee's made this a kind of a tight game, right? He was pretty far down just like a minute or two ago. But with those DTs, distracting ZEST, allowing those the disruptors to hit and get on top of ZEST's stalkers, that has kind of pulled himself somewhat even, although ZEST still has a pretty substantial army supply lead, and of course ZOUN's production building has just pretty much dissipated as all his production in the main base has,
and the violence as well.
Ah, yeah, he is supply blocked.
Quite substantially as well. Oh, Purification over. Oh my, that was a very brave blink forward that is not gonna pay off in ZOUN's favor. Horrible situation for ZOUN to be in. Luckily for him, it did kill so many of ZEST Stalkers after ZEST just kind of walked them into Purification Novas for no apparent reason. But man, this still really feels like ZEST games to lose.
Alright. Right now, we do see that ZEST does have a slight disruptor lead here, 6-4. Does have the Archons as well. On the other side, though, ZOUN does still have the DTs, but I think right now ZEST has kind of secured his bases with the detection there.
Oh, there's one. Oh my god, look at the natural of ZEST. Oh, well, after this fight, though, Zealot's kind of clashing on top of everything, but do not find enough surface to kill that. And now the Zealots out of ZEST are gonna just try to charge on top of everything. That's so many of them. Meanwhile, in the natural of ZEST, that's a very sad blocked Archon.
Sad Archon.
Yeah, very sad Archon. Oh, this Raptor walking way too ahead of himself. He's gonna fall down. Every single unit is so important for ZOUN. Just trying to get around, but that's more Zealots, more Stalkers, more Disruptors, more everything for ZEST. This is the last stand for ZOUN. It's a desperate one at that. And it looks like ZEST right now is just toying with his food, really. Just getting on top of everything slowly but steadily. Now these Zealots charge on cooldown on one side, and here they go on top of everything that's left for ZOUN. GG gets called, match point for ZEST. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I said. This game was so important for both players. Both players fighting like madmen to take this win. It's gonna go for ZEST. And
yeah,
man, it's gonna be hard to recover from that.
Yeah, that was a crazy, insane 27-minute game. And yeah, disruptor games and PvP can turn out to be as crazy and nutty as that was.
This series is not yet over. There's still one game for ZOUN to win, and if he wins this, there's one more. It's gonna be hard. 2 in a row against ZEST. It's been very hard for him today, but he has been showing up in this series. He's been playing like crazy himself. Both these two players really stepping up their game. And now we're gonna go on Jagannafa. Set number 8 of this best of 9. And this has been a very close series. Let's see how it will end. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner, currently at match point, is the blue Protoss player playing for Raise Your Edge Gaming. It is ZEST.
And spawning here at the top right corner of the map, playing for Alpha X. He wants to keep his hopes alive. He'll need to do it with this one game to push it into a decisive 9th game. Guys, can he do it? He needs your energy. Give it up for ZOUN.
it's already very interesting for him to choose this map for this set. Like, you're playing your lifeline on Jagannath. Oh, that requires some courage.
Yeah, maybe he has something up his sleeve in this game. Who knows? Alright, looks like both players are opening up with a 2 gateway once again. Of course, this is a very important game, so I think both players just don't wanna do anything too risky.
Yeah, it really feels like it's been the leitmotif of the last two games, I'd say. Just try not to risk it out, play your best game. And best games for ZOUN this far have been these proxies. He's gonna be making another proxy. Best map he played, probably Jagannath. So I'm kind of happy he decided to choose this map, go for this style, and just play his best. Not scared of his opponent. His lifeline is here, and he's gonna try his best to put it to game number 9. It's a Robo.
Proxy Robo.
Alright.
Alright, we used to see this so often in PvP. It was a really effective build. Of course, it's the 1 Robo and 3 gateway, 1 base attack. You get yourself a Mortal, and then as well as follow up by a Warp Prism, and then you just go across and try to attack your opponent. But with the introduction of the shield battery overcharge, it has become easier to defend. But if you can kind of fly or kind of ferry your units into the main base without being scattered, then possibly that's a way to kind of bypass the shield battery. But on this map, it's actually a bit harder to do so, I feel like. But maybe we shall see. We'll see if ZOUN can actually micro well enough to break the front.
Alright, a few Stalkers out of ZEST already getting the upper hand in a fight against ZOUN. Getting one of these Stalkers in the middle of the map. Not gonna be good news for ZOUN, but the Immortal is already being made. There's a Warp Prism on the other side, and both players going all out on this. Stalker after Stalker gonna be sent through the map for ZEST, while ZOUN will need to probably recall his own Immortal.
Or maybe he can intercept with those with his Immortal. Get on top of these Stalkers.
Problem is there is a Warp Prism. It's gonna be kind of hard. Immortal is in the middle of the map just staring at the Stalkers, and now it's 6 Stalkers on the Immortal.
Oh my god, that is horrible.
There was, I did not know how that happened, but ZEST as the higher spider sense I've ever seen in a StarCraft player ever.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do what I was talking about, intercept the retreating Stalker, but he did not anticipate that there was additional Stalkers coming across and got sandwiched there. And without the Warp Prism,
Alright, it looks like ZOUN is gonna go all out himself. He's gonna go walking through the map, sending his Warp Prism as well, but ZEST is by a large amount the strongest army, and he's gonna recall it back home, meaning that ZOUN cannot really do too much over here. What's this? It's a Sanctuary being worked in this location. Not pretty sure why recall is gonna be used.
No!
Gonna fall, GG. And yeah, that game number 8 just was too much for ZOUN. It wasn't really playing its best right here. ZEST is gonna win the series. It's a beautiful series played by both those 2 players, but let's be honest, this series ended with game number 8.
Yeah, indeed.